Deo Farm. We are a year 2 going into year 3 Oklahoma flower farm, and we sell retail market bouquets from our roadside stand. It is like days before our first frost in the fall, and I'm out here doing a bunch of chores, and so I thought I would grab the camera and give you kind of an update of everything we've been doing and working on since we stopped selling at the stand a couple weeks ago. Kind of all of the fall projects we've been doing, the cleanup chores, the getting ready to plant, the row prep, all of that fun stuff. I think when you last saw these fields, we were pulling everything out. We were cutting things down. Eric was mowing over zinnias. We were getting it covered in, we were tilling it, we were raking it, we were making it all nice. And right now it has 2 silage tarps on it. And so this past year, we treated it like 2 fields. So there was this field, the north field up here, 30 feet long rows. And then there was the south field also with 30-foot rows. Next year, we are combining it, so it will be planted as if it is 1 field. That means as I'm standing here, I'm on the south side looking north at the flower stand. This whole thing will be 1 continuous 60-foot row, and we are going to have 10 of them all the way across for our late spring and summer season. And I'm really excited about planting longer rows, and that means more of each variety for our later spring and summer season. And this is just, oh, it's gonna be awesome here, especially in June. It'll probably look its absolute best. On this side, our sunflower field is not looking its absolute best, but that's just because we haven't had the time yet to get out here and cut down all of the remaining sunflower rows. We have a couple that are under silage that are cleaned out, but this was the last that I was cutting on for our end of September flower stand days. And so we've just been leaving them up. I think the birds appreciate it, but we'll get around to cutting these down and getting things tilled and then also covered in silage, most likely for the winter, until we're ready to plant again sometime in early April. If you've watched our channel for any length of time, you've kind of picked up on the fact that I don't grow a lot of varieties. I'm really passionate about the steak and potatoes theme that we're going for on our farm, and so I do not have a very long variety list. Our last video actually was telling you all of the things that I'm not gonna grow again, and then we joked in the video that am I actually growing any flowers since I had so many in my no list. But I am in fact growing flowers, and I'm even gonna overwinter some of the varieties, and a couple of them are gonna go in that field I just showed you. I'm now standing on the north side looking back into our farm, and our first row here is going to have all of our tulips. So we do a no-dig method, which basically means we erect temporary raised beds, and that's gonna go all along what is row 1. We're gonna put up temporary boards, plant our tulips, and cover it with compost. The compost is sitting over there under cover waiting for that project, probably sometime in December. So our tulips are gonna go in row 1 in our field. In row 2, I'm going to be planting larkspur. And then in row 3, I'm gonna be planting a little bit more larkspur and the rest bupleurum. And that is actually gonna go in here in a couple days, and it will not need cover where we are, so I can just plant them, keep them watered, and be excited to see them bloom sometime in May. While I know that larkspur and bupleurum will direct sow and it'll reseed itself really easily, typically I opted to get plugs this time because things don't direct sow super easily in Oklahoma. It's possible, but it tends to be more sporadic than I want for a flower farm, where I'm trying to maximize all of the space I can, no gaps, really precise, 100% fill my rows, and I can't achieve that very easily with direct sowing, and so it's worth it to me to pay for plugs. Ooh, I'm gonna blow away. Oklahoma. Plugs are worth it to me. When we moved the silage tarp over to our field rows, we uncovered This big section that you can see is now brown with a lot of the grass died back. And this is going to be all of our peonies. This is going to be our future peony field. It's about 30, maybe 40 by 60. If I'm wrong, Eric put it on the screen. But this is going to have our peonies, but that is a job for November. So I'm living a little bit in denial about all of the work this field is going to be, but it'll be beautiful eventually. The most exciting thing happening on the farm right now, though, is our high tunnel build. Eric is working so wonderfully hard on this for us. He works full time, so he kind of has to slowly plod and get this done as he's able. He put in a couple really long days recently to get us to this spot, but we have the ground posts in, we have the bows in, we have our 3 rows in it, all prepped and ready. So what remains is the plastic and then all of the ropes and the wind bracing, the top bar, all of that stuff to make it really secure. But with the bows up and the rows ready, I can totally picture what I'm gonna get to plant in here soon. When I get the plants for the tunnel and I get the plugs, I will do a separate video about the tunnel, what we're growing in it, why I chose what we're gonna grow in it, the varieties I'm planting, all of that fun stuff. So we'll do a separate dedicate and give the tunnel all the proper attention that it needs. But I wanted to give you an update on what it looks like because we're not there yet. I kind of gave Eric a gentle, I keep stepping in holes. I gave Eric a gentle deadline of the end of October to have it done so I could keep my calendar correct for planting. And we're on track, but we're not quite ready for the full reveal. I mentioned the larkspur and bupleurum and that I am going with plugs, and they arrived today. So I wanted to do an unboxing with you and show you how plugs look. If you've never even ordered plugs, you wonder what it all looks like, but it comes in, we get it from Farmer Bailey's, who contracts with Grow and Sell. So this is grown in a Pennsylvania greenhouse, and there are 3 beautifully packed trays in here, and all the plugs should look beautiful and not all tumbled and crazy looking. And they're gonna look so much better than anything I've ever started from seed. It's hard to do. It's hard to do things one-handed. I don't have my camera girl daughter out right now. So again, this is larkspur and bupleurum that I ordered in here. Doing this on a windy day is not ideal, but it's never not windy here. So here we go. Oh, I'm nervous. Okay, interesting. So this is first tray, and it is bupleurum. Ooh, hi babies. They're a little stressed only because obviously I would be stressed if I got jammed in a box with no sunlight and kept with a bit of moisture to get me through. But here they are, looking wonderful. This is bupleurum graffiti variety, and I want to say this is a 210 tray, which means there's 210 little baby plugs in here. So that means the other 2 trays are larkspur. So let's open them. Let's drop the plugs on camera. That would be smart. Doing this with one hand is not the smartest. Okay, there they are. You can live there for a little while. 2 more trays hidden in there. All right. Oh, so pretty. Come here, guys. I'll bring you out into the light. It's such a long journey from Pennsylvania. Ooh, some of you look like you have a bad haircut. But look how fluffy. Let me confirm here, but I got a larkspur QIX mix. And again, it is the same size tray. It's a 210. So these little guys on the edge of the box need to stand up straight a little bit. But my goodness, does a plug tray look like 1,000% better than my plug trays. One more. The friend at the bottom. Come here. So 3 trays in a box. You have to order a 3-tray minimum typically so that the box is all full so that the packaging works correctly. So if you're smaller scale, plugs tend to not be quite what you should do in the first year or two as you're scaling up because the quantities are just so much higher than how you're starting. And I also think it's wise as a new grower to get some knowledge in starting seeds and taking care of seedlings, and then you can go from there and decide if you want to go the plug route after you know the varieties you like and how things respond, instead of just directly jumping into plugs, which are a lot more expensive than a seed packet. Ooh, a spider. There's a spider in the box, a little Pennsylvania hitchhiker. So here they are, my sweet little babies, my 3 musketeers. Ooh, look, another stowaway. But here they are. I can tell they don't really need water right now. They've got good moisture, but they definitely need some sunlight and to get refloofed. But I'm so happy they're here. When you order plugs, you have to pick the week that you want them shipped, and then the plug growers base when they start the seeds based on the week that you requested. So if, for example, snapdragons typically take 6 weeks to get to transplant size, and so when you order your snapdragons and you pick the week that you want them, Farmer Bailey or Grow and Sell will look at that date and they'll back it up 6 weeks and they'll grow your snapdragons for you. But when they do that, they're growing them in a specific size plug tray. They are assuming when you pick that week that that's when you want them to plant. And so they send them to you when these babies are ready to go. And the only thing you need to do is harden them off a bit. And the hardening off timeline can change a little bit. For example, if you are getting plugs delivered, say in like May or June, and it's warmer, well, these seedlings were grown in a greenhouse that was very protected and gentle on them. So you should spend 2-3 days getting them ready to live like full-blown outdoor life. But right now outside, yes, it's windy, but it's like 68 out and our lows are in like the upper 40s. It's not super stressful for them. We're cloudy, the forecast looks cloudy. So my plan for these guys is to give them 1 or 2 days and plant them out probably Friday or Saturday based on when I'm filming this. But these guys are not grown to live for weeks and weeks in their plug trays. That's not how the timing works. That's not how they're grown. And so to get the best quality for your money, you need to work hard on your scheduling to get these little guys in the ground, and so they don't get stunted or root bound and end up not performing at their best. Because again, when you buy plugs, you're buying a much more expensive product than if you're starting them from seed. So that's what's been going on lately on our farm. It is a lot of cleanup and field prep, and then the planting is beginning to start. Largely for our spring season is everything that's going in, except for our peonies, which is just a perennial investment that I have to be really patient on. But that's what's been going on. It is so exciting, especially the tunnel behind me. I can't wait to make that video and actually get things in ground, because it's a big step. It's a big step to buy a tunnel and to grow some of the much more expensive and a bit more finicky plants that I'm gonna put in there. And I feel good about waiting until going into year 3 to do that instead of jumping all in so fast. I prefer the slow, patient plod than like the aggressive start. But as it's the end of October, we will be doing our usual our monthly live here coming up. So if you have any questions, always ask them in the comments or send me a DM on social, and I accumulate a lot of these questions and use them in the live to answer much more technical or specific questions than normally I would put in a video or even think to get to. So if you ever have any of those questions, send us a message. If you want a much longer form Q&A with us and you want to really ask some specific questions and have more of a conversation with us, we are offering consulting calls now, which I'm very excited about. We already have a bunch lined up and scheduled. So if that's interesting to you, give me a DM. I'll give you the details. I'll tell you what we offer, the price point, all that fun stuff. But it allows us to really have a straight back and forth with you and talk about your options and your farm and conditions and what we would do if we were on your farm and the choices we would make, and just have a great conversation. So that's an option too. If you're always thinking like, I wish they would answer this, or I have all of these questions, that's an option now. So reach out to us if you're interested. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.